Good evening. Good evening, 3, and welcome to a post-cast game tournament round 32 match. Number 1 seed Tam and the number 33 seed RadicalSniper99. This is game 2 of the best of 3, and RadicalSniper99 is up a game and is hoping to close things out tonight. I'm Crazy Gamer on commentary, and with me in the booth is Tracy M. Tracy, how you doing?
Doing great. Looking forward to this race. I've heard some things about what happened in their previous race with Radical Sniper, also known as Jesse, so I might switch back and forth a little bit. Taking that one in, apparently had some epic trolls in it, but I missed it, so chat can maybe fill us in. So yeah, Tam looking to tie it up as the 1 seed in coming out of groups. So yeah, get it to a game 3, and that could be fun. But of course, Jesse hopes it doesn't go to a game 3. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So the mode that they rolled for this is MC Boss Shuffle, which is a kind of an open mode. It is maps and compasses shuffled amongst the world, and the bosses have also been shuffled around, so we could see quite a different scenario for how they choose to route things. But here we go.
And 20 rupees at Link's house, and Jesse is going to continue on, maybe do Uncle Start. So we just got the small key over at the Sank on Tam's side. Yeah, the map boss shuffle is, or the Mick boss, as we often call it. So compasses matter because they'll tell us who the bosses are. The mode kind of fights with itself a little bit because you have more items in dungeons, so you want to go into dungeons to get those extra items, but you don't want to go into dungeons because you might not be able to beat it because you might face a boss that you don't have all the items for. So I think it makes it very interesting, a very interesting combination. But I think some of there's definitely parries on the bushcraft that's not useful. Yeah, it does make for an interesting combination. And flippers over there at the uncle for Jesse, which is really nice. Could be a nice advantage for him if he decides to go to Zora early, or has the money to do so.
Yeah, and we saw large magic as tier 1, so that's always a good thing. Obviously not as good as bombs, but if you get a magic item, you'll definitely want to farm those up as much as you can, and that's a lucky bomb drop for Tam.
Yeah, it looks like the blobs are in the bomb prize pack, so we might be able to get a couple more bombs from them. The buzz blobs. Heart container this early, you tend to pick those up a little bit more.
Did Jesse not check Lumberjack if he's going this way?
He did not check Lumberjack. He might be of the school of thought that says, I won't check it till I have boots, because I can't get it anyway without boots. It's a pretty common thing to do. He's going to see that these fairies are not going to help him at all.
Oh, and Tam just pulled single bombs from the tree, so I would assume that's tier 2.
Yeah, I didn't see if Tam got hit. So, yeah, it looked like maybe even took another hit, so to set up another one, but we'll see. But yeah, Jesse not getting any bombs. He's going to go south to north and try and get bombs at the 50-50 bushes, it looks like. So early advantage, Tam. Those flippers, if they lead to something and Tam chooses not to do any fake flippering, which, is slow, annoying, and maybe, I don't find it super worth most of the time. But we'll see. The flippers could matter, they could not.
Yeah, and flippers as the Zora item is always like a double-edged sword because it cuts you off from Houlihan until you find a glove.
Yep.
And the flippers puts Zora in logic, so it's now you're just scrambling for money, and hopefully you don't have to go to Zora until you can unlock everything else there.
Yeah, Tam doing okay on money early. Will at the very least be able to do bottle vendor with no problem. Can even buy bombs if they want to. I didn't see it was over on the race game, but Jesse wants it.
I thought it was money, so
I mean, if it's big enough, yeah, especially with those flippers, I think you grab it. But 50, yeah, chat's saying 50. I'm not sure I'd grab 50.
Especially at the cost of a bomb, where if you don't know that the tree pole is a bomb, then you're spending a bomb to just get 50, which is fine, but like he's got one left over, he can go to the bomb hut and just farm that up.
Yeah, I mean this is not gonna. I mean he'll be able to do all the things. 72 rupees is enough to do bottle vendor after you do like the well and Blind's hut and such. He can do the bomb hut like you say. We'll get money back from the bottle vendor, so I guess that's good. But this whole trip into Kakariko is just slower right now. It's just gonna give Tam a head start.
And you don't want to give Tam any more time than you have to.
I mean, really, at this level, you don't. There's no one you want to give that kind of time to. But yeah, Tam being the #1 seed, yeah, not ideal.
So there really hasn't been too much in Kakariko. It's just been an amount of money and just other odds and ends. And
yeah,
the library looked like it was a bottle or something else.
Yeah, it was a bottle. It was a bottle with a B in it. So odds are we won't get that bottle unless by the time we by the time we get boots, maybe you go back for it. But I don't know. I don't see it. Jesse, having bought bombs now, is gonna struggle to have the money for the bottle vendor now. We'll see. I didn't see all the money that was in these places, so yeah, he might be fine. It's a shame he didn't do the bottle vendor first, and that would have gotten him the money back to buy more bombs. But I think that's even worse routing at this point. But Jesse still has the advantage of those flippers that for whatever that ends up being worth.
Yeah, okay. If Zora or the man on the bridge is anything, then
you
can easily route that.
Okay, so now we got a bottle here over at the South Shore in the dam. So that bottle will sit in the library forever and ever. It's also got better stuff in it. I'd much rather have a green potion than a bee. See if Tam grabs this boomerang. Does want it.
You check a stun prize with it.
Yeah.
Maybe not now because you don't have a weapon, but eventually down the line.
Yeah, it's a little slow to check it right now. I'm not sure what happened with that bomb. Looks like maybe it just Tam threw it a little bit late, so it exploded in the air and didn't kill the Moldorms. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so money's just not even going to be an issue. Another bottle of green, a hammer, and blue mail. Someone in chat had said that it looked like a blue mail upgrade on the lumberjack, so that's the only mail upgrade we're going to get. I think that's fine. Let's see, where is... Oh, Jesse's going to go use these flippers immediately. So I kind of like this pink-purple Link sprite that Tam's rocking.
He's wearing sunglasses, too, of some sort.
I think so, yeah. Okay, small magic as our stun prize is not a bad one. Okay, please don't die.
And please.
Okay, I think this will just be a save and quit. This could be Uncle into front of escape. With that hammer, you've got a pretty easy way to get through the castle. I do kind of like the way Jesse's pushing these flippers. He will get back to Mini Moldorm and will get that hammer, but, if there's something nice here... Swamp Compass, a glove. Ooh. That is a thing we need. Yeah, Tam about to get the flippers, and we'll have the benefit of being able to do the rest of Front of Escape. And we'll see whether that matters. Nothing on the Zora ledge.
I mean, the flippers are going to push Tam in the direction of Zora, and especially since he's got more than the 500 he needs. He might just go there now.
I mean, Tam's going to get the gloves, but they're going to do Front of Escape first, because you're here. That's your whole plan is. You've got a hammer. You can just do Front of Escape. Just a piece of heart on Zora, so kind of a waste. No, it wasn't a waste of time. We got a glove out of that. That's important. Jesse might go ahead and do Back of Escape first, and then do South Shore.
It looks like that's what he's doing.
But yeah, this Front of Escape is going to be important, because either it's going to be a waste of time for Tam, or it's going to be something important that Jesse probably doesn't get to for a while. Unless it's a Moon Pearl, so Jesse has to get to it. No choice but to get there. Might still last location. We'll see. Ice Rod. Map to ice. That's fitting. And 10 arrows.
So on the chance that Jesse does last locate Pearl, he may just save and quit out of that first chest and then just not check the rest of Escape. Yeah,
it would be an interesting call. A little bit risky, but it would be a little bit of potentially a little bit of a time save. We just got a piece of heart in the next chest, and there's gonna be one more. We've already got the small key, which means we're down to map versus, in Dark Cross versus Zelda Cell. But yeah, between our runners, we already have Dark World access. Also, Jesse, please don't die. You want these things? Okay, so map in Dark Cross. Unless we saw it in the back. I don't think we did.
The map in Dark Cross?
Yeah.
In MC Shuffle?
Never mind.
Yep.
I mean, it could be a map in Dark Cross. It's just not the map.
I mean, yeah, you're right. You're right. There could in fact be a map in Dark Cross.
There could in fact be a map in Dark Cross. And that boomerang's going to come in handy to be able to see in these dark rooms. We don't really... The hammer's a terrible item to see off of.
Yeah, ideally you would want a sword here and just hold it out just so you could see where you're going, but...
Hookshot's not too bad either, because, in this room the Tam's in right now, you can just kind of hook all the snakes dead very quickly.
Yeah, the snake room is just...
Oh, that's cute.
Mind. Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, and fun fact, the lamp doesn't immediately light up the room that you're in. I learned that when an earlier race this tournament where the lamp was in Pod Rupee room. So there's a fire rod sitting out there somewhere for our runners.
Mm-hmm. Could be anywhere, but we know it's not in a room that requires the lamp.
That's correct. Ham, not knowing that they're going to get a glove if they follow the flippers, is just going to go all the way to the back here.
Might as well. You're here, right? And you don't know when you're going to get back here if you don't have a glove.
And I think this is going to be a Gina from Jesse, because typically you would route this in with Mini Moldorm Cave otherwise. And he's already done Mini Moldorm.
It'll be new information for us, but at this point, what are we hoping that it could be? Between both runners, we know that they have Dark World access, so... Not sure what could make this better. I guess maybe a sword.
Sword would be really nice. Fire Rod would make the Dark Crossplay better for Jesse. Looks like he's gonna go ahead and scout the ledge here. I'm not a fan of scouting this ledge without boots or flute. It's so slow. But, you know, it has the information. If it was something important, it'd be easier to quickly beeline it.
All right, let's see what Agina's got.
Okay,
look at that.
There it is. So that makes going back into Hyrule Castle even better, but also has the choice of going over to see Saha and maybe dip into Eastern even.
Speaking of Eastern, it is a crystal.
Yeah, I think if Eastern had been a pendant, he might have been a little... Like, the timing of that map check tells me that he was perhaps deciding between the two locations. And if Eastern had been a pendant, it looks a little bit better because Eastern is kind of a nice dungeon in this mode because everything's an item except the big key. So you're guaranteed 4 items in the front. And there's also an item on the boss that we can't get. But if there's 4 items in the front, and we never have to kill the boss, that's great. But since we do have to kill the boss, we're gonna go ahead and do this stuff instead. Which means it might be a while before we get to that Eastern Palace area, because Jesse's gonna get this Moon Pearl and be able to keep going. The better question is, does he do Dark Cross? With the sword, it's not that bad, so it wouldn't surprise me if he does, but it's also, you know, you just got Dark World access. You might want to follow it.
Yeah, with all of, well, not all of Dark World, but with just Dark World on the table,
yep.
I would say, like, especially when you have Hype Cave right there, maybe you come back to Dark Cross. Speaking of Hype Cave, let's see what Tam opens up.
Piece of Heart. Map to Dark Palace. Heart Container. Rupees. Pretty underwhelming Hype Cave. We did get 2 maps for information, so not the worst ever, but...
2 out of 10?
Not great, yeah. Is this green guard still alive? Yes, he is. So we're gonna take the Death Warp, but we're gonna go ahead and do the Dark Cross, which, you know, honestly is I mean, that lamp is gonna be nice. Yes, we know the fire. I mean, not only does it give us the fire source that we need, it does give us that information about where the fire rod could be, and assuming that we need the fire rod, which, you know, most seeds you do. We could have, if we have Pendant Skullwoods and Pendant Turtle Rock, the fire rod could become somewhat optional.
So we did get some additional information about where our crystals are. Our reds are Thieves Town and Knight's Palace, and we also discovered that Pod is a pendant, because of course it is.
Like we also have Pendant Swamp, which is the thing I never like to see when I don't already have a hook shot, because I cannot hover.
Picked up a compass to Ganon's Tower, so now we'll know who's at the top of Ganon's Tower.
And yeah, that's
spoiler.
Really...
It's always Aghanim.
I mean, it would be neat if I mean, I do wonder if because if you think about it, it might be able to put the bosses on the floors. I don't know how difficult that would be. It'd be nice if at some point the Ganon's Tower compass could tell us what our bosses were. At the moment, it does not. So it'll tell us our item count, which makes the big key guessing game a lot easier to keep track of. So shout outs to that.
I'll take it. Tam going to Catfish.
Yeah, this is a very early Catfish play. This is really interesting.
I guess you do this because it's isolated. Otherwise, you don't have a mirror and you've already done Zora. Just get it out of the way.
We get a compass. That be useful. I'm not sure it's worth the time, but we got it. I mean, it's definitely, again, worst things we could find.
Yeah. Hera is also a quick dungeon, so, like, seeing the boss would be relatively quick anyway.
Yeah, it's not the worst. But yeah, it looks like Village of Outcasts into Thieves Town is next on Tam's priority list. And Jesse's gonna do a couple extra checks here over to the west side, do Dig Game and Stumpy. And we're also gonna talk to the sick kid, because we do have those bottles that we picked up. Oh, Fire Rod on Stumpy. Okay, our lamps and logic, yay. Tam's not missing that, it'll just be a little bit later to it. Interesting in that Jesse will be able to do Skullwoods right now, if he wants to.
Six Hearts, Blue Mail, Fighter Sword. Could
Yeah,
be better, but it's not the worst either.
Fighter Sword Moth kind of sucks, but we do have a pretty good defense for it. And we do have, with the Fire Rod, and we actually have 2 bottles of green, and if you're good at Fire Rod Moth, you can just spam those Fire Rod shots and use those green bottles if you want to.
Right, and of course this is assuming that Moth is even there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, maybe it's a Moldorm. Moldorm is pretty broken in this mode, but with the hammer, not going to be a hard boss at all.
Yeah, Moldorm just doesn't know what to do in that room because the floor is moving and he just can't figure it out.
And Tam is going to show us some of Skullwoods.
Looks like he's going to go back to front just to see if he can see if the boss is beatable. Oh, he doesn't have a sword yet, so wait, he can't go to the boss.
Nope.
Landmo, it looks like.
Yeah, that's kind of a... That's not who I'd want to face if I were... I mean, I guess you had the Ice Rod, and you got those magic refills. You have Hammer. In Tam's case, probably will have better equipment by the time they go back there. Jesse, on the other hand, has the Fire Rod, Fire Rod a little bit better. Has the sword.
Yeah, this is clearable for Jesse.
I think Jesse does it. Well, we don't yet know for sure that it's a crystal, but based on what we've seen, highly likely that it is.
I think his tracker does, well, our tracker says it's a crystal down there, so he might already have the, it's a C. It's on Tam's side. Yeah, it is a crystal.
Right, those little letters that tell us. But it looks like Jesse wants to prioritize the village first, which makes sense for him, because he's already done the dig game and is already nice hook shot. Has already done the dig game, has already done Stumpy. So what he'll likely do is clear village, clear Thieves Town, and then go north into Skullwoods and be able to just save and quit out of the boss there. Whereas Tam, without the Fire Rod, and having not done those south checks, probably just walks out of here, goes into village, does Thieves Town, and then finishes at Stumpy.
Getting the hook shot also opens up the entire light side of the mountain for Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
So
sure does.
So that's a Hera play if he wants it.
And we get a book, because everybody likes a book to have to maybe have to do Desert the slow way. Yeah, Tam will get that hook shot and maybe ends up on the mountain first, and still they won't be able to go back into Skullwoods for a while. And I don't think they'll get that Fire Rod, but I don't imagine that Tam goes straight back to Skullwoods for 1 or 2 items. One of the things to note about Map Compass Shuffle that I think some people forget a little bit, most of the bosses are guaranteed items. Or in the case of Moth / whatever's there, in this case Landmo, it's either the item or a big key leading to the item, because most bosses can't have keys on them. Notable exceptions are Ice Palace and Misery Mire. Those bosses like to have keys on them. Also, Tower of Hera is another one.
It's Ambrosia Light.
Yeah, in a way. And both runners going to be in Thieves Town at the same time shortly.
Makes sense. They've got a hammer, so this is full clearable.
Yep.
And a red crystal. That's always good.
Little more, yeah, Tam will have to do a hammer blind unless there's a sword in here. So that's not great, but with the blue mail and the hearts, should be okay. And could find a sword in here, and maybe the other thing that really makes this fight very easy if you're not good with the hammer, if you could find a blue cane. It would be useful here. Blind with the blue cane is kind of fun. Every once in a while, you get to do that.
Chat brings up a good point. Are there any bosses we can't beat right now?
Well, Tam can't be. Yeah, and of course this won't be blind. Yeah. I mean, it might be blind.
I mean, just with our collective knowledge, I think that's most of everything.
Well, can beat and is easy boss to kill are 2 different things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And yeah, Jesse is gonna go ahead and full clear this now. And we'll see if Tam does the same thing, or if they decide that they just want to kill the boss. Back at Thieves Town in this mode has a tendency to become a little like a longer at left side swamp. Tam only on 2 hearts, so if this is a difficult boss, it's not ideal.
And of note, Jesse decided to do the...
Yep, we're going to see the back.
It's
this is a terrible fight for Tam right now. Can do it with the combination of Ice Rod shots and the hammer. Hammer, Armos, not fun. And very difficult. Jesse's going to have an easier time with that just for having the Fighter Sword. It's also a pretty awful fight with Fighter Sword, to be honest. But a little bit better than hammer, bombs, and the 8 Ice Rod shots that Tam already fired.
It is possible, but you don't know how good the bow is until you don't have a bow.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, I mean, I might have just noped out of this if I were Tam now. With the sword that Jesse has, I do it. Yeah, I like that. Uses the potion. Now you get another 8 Ice Rod shots. I might have tried to just use all 8. Okay, I guess it's 4 per. But yeah, keeping track of which Armos has damage can be useful here.
And you always want to make sure you don't hit one of them, because you want that one to be the red one.
Right, you want it, because it's going to get its health back.
Unless there's some sick quick kill strat that I'm unaware of. Not
with this equipment, there isn't. At least no one's discovered one yet. We have both runners in the awful Armos fights here. A little surprised Jesse doesn't use his magic items a little bit, but might be saving them for whatever's in, because he doesn't yet know what's in Skullwoods.
So Tam saved enough ice to shoot the last one, and that was a really quick cleanup.
Yeah, that's smart.
And that's 1 crystal for Tam.
And Jesse going back and forth between hammer and sword.
Yeah, I'm not super knowledgeable on damage tables on Armos Knight, so I don't know how much better hammer is compared to Fighter Sword.
Well, the hammer's gonna do tempered damage, so it's significantly better, but it's also significantly harder to hit with. Nope. I've been corrected. Fighter sword and hammer apparently is the same damage because damage tables are weird.
Video games.
Yep. And this will be, we're gonna check Bumper Ledge real quick over on Jesse's side, and then I imagine go into Skull Woods. Tam is gonna get that fire rod after this dig game. There's a map we're probably never getting.
Tam just pulling up every red rupee.
Yeah, of course, because Tam's already done most of the money things that you want to do. And I think this will be a mountain play for Tam. Could go back and finish Skullwoods, but there's a lot of other more dense things, including a dungeon that maybe has a crystal. We don't know for sure on Hera yet.
And so many other items besides, so I think the mountain's is the good play here. Oh, Tam didn't go to Stumpy. He doesn't have a fire rod.
Oh, that hopefully isn't a problem. Cold Stare can appear at the top of Tower of Hera.
It's not often you see a skip of Stumpy if you did dig.
Yeah.
Game,
Yeah, dig game is more commonly the one you skip because it can be very slow. So yeah, also can't finish Skull Woods because didn't visit Stumpy for that fire rod. Yeah, and actually, the fire rod is what puts this in logic since we don't have a flute, because the lamp was sitting in Dark Cross and thus behind the fire rod. Now, when you're skipping a lamp for something like this, that's usually fine. I think this is a little scarier to skip potentially a fire rod for this logic.
You may just be deciding, go for the density play now and ignore the logic.
I mean, it is one of the densest areas in the game, so that makes a lot of sense. Also, I don't know if there's a small key left for Jesse. If there is, it's sitting in that chest under the bridge, and he doesn't have to pick it up. And so far, Paradox with some money. And, you know, we're kind of done needing money. I mean, we still have to go into pod, but at 616 rupees, I think we can do it. And there, Jesse's going to use that green potion.
So we picked up a Meyer map, so on
Meyer
map check.
A Meyer map and a bunch of money. Ether medallion on Skull Woods boss, which may or may not matter. Floating Island has a piece of heart that we're never picking up.
And Jesse's going to show us the chest under the bridge and...
just bombs. Okay, Jesse, with a fully in logic mountain, I imagine will go up there. Tam finds out that Ether Tablet just has arrows, so we're never gonna have to go back there. No, we're doing something different on Jesse's side. Maybe following that book.
Oop,
Not sure I like that when...
that looked like a cold stare on top of Tower of Hera.
Oh, so unless we find Bombos, not gonna be able to do it.
And he's deciding not to. Just nope. We're done with this.
Yeah, we're just done. Go do Spiral Cave. Figure out what we missed. To be fair, even with the Fire Rod, kind of an awful boss fight. Although, like Jesse still has another green potion. Oh.
So an interesting decision because Tower of Hera did have 8 items and you can check 7 of them.
There's 6 items: small key and big key.
Right.
Is that right? No, normally it has 2, so it'd be 4. 6 total item locations. Well, Tam has a sword now. So that's good. Okay, not immediately boots locked out of desert. Yeah, 4 items, big key, small key in Hera. We are logically boots locked, which is significant mostly in that the boots will not be in GT. And this looks like an Eastern play from Tam. Let's see if Saha has anything interesting.
You haven't seen Saha yet?
We have not.
Huh.
We got our Dark World access before going there. And really nothing interesting there. I just hope Tam didn't do a thing where, because they went down to those South Dark World checks and did Dig Game and didn't do Stumpy, didn't actually mark that off their map, assuming that Tam even does map tracking, because not everyone does.
Yeah, that is an error you do not want to make.
No, it is the worst. It is the worst feeling error you can possibly make in this game, in my opinion. But we are going to get Eastern here, so this is going to be 4 new items and a big key.
And it's a crystal.
Yeah, we're just down to Hera, Meyer, and Turtle Rock as our last pendant, it looks like. Oh, you get another cold stare. And yeah, I would use that potion too. This is, interestingly enough, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for Jesse on the cold stare fight up at the top of Hera. Because has now used both bottles, and for this last puff is going to have to use fighter sword spins and or hammer.
And without a flute, it is a little hard to route in the potion shop to re-up on that.
Yeah.
Granted, we've got the money for it, but no easy way to really get there, and
I mean,
it's
you
a
can
race
do,
after all.
You can do the fake flipper into the whirlpool south of Link's house, and it's not too bad, but I don't think you do.
Yeah,
think
not
you just
unless
go to the
there's like
mountain.
not unless there's nothing else you can do. It's like, oh, we have to do this boss, and I need potions. Then you do it.
Looks like so far we're not finding anything useful in Eastern. With that early big key, if Jesse can get a go mode Eastern Palace, is going to be able to fly through that dungeon a lot faster.
It looks like Jesse is on his way to the mountain.
Yeah, this makes sense. Unfortunately, the sword that what will be Jesse's master sword is going to be after checking Meyer. And yeah, Tam might get that. So if Tam chooses to go over to Desert, um, we'll likely get the second sword over at Aegina. Cannot finish the dungeon because it's Cold Stare and doesn't have either the Fire Rod or the Bombos.
Yeah, Bombos is still MIA, but Fire Rod is just waiting on Stumpy.
Yeah.
Looks like Tam is going to go to Aegina first, and this will work out. Because the other way to do it is to go to Desert first and then check Aegina on the way out, and then save and quit.
Yep, it's pretty common to want to save and quit out of here. As it turns out, in this case, it's going to work out better because that Master Sword's going to help. But this is going to be the third dungeon for Tam that they've cleared most of and won't be finishing. We'll see what Jesse decides to do with the Cold Stare on the top of Tower of Hera. Might give it the college try, and if you survive it, then you've got another boss down. Certainly a killable boss with the equipment he has, but not an easy one. Like the Master Sword would make a huge difference. Just in its, the ability to spin with the Master Sword on Cold Stare is just so much better. Because it's not going to be able to save any magic on this fight. The other thing the Master Sword could do is it could give you sword beams for the first part of the fight, which lets you do dupes and maybe save 4 fire rod shots, potentially as many as. And so you have a little bit better second part of the fight.
And another thing to know is that arena in Tower of Hera is not friendly, and
no, it's not.
And you're fighting the puffs that are just moving all about the place.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a pleasant fight.
Alright, also gets the news about the ether tablet. Cat asking where are the myths. Good question. Well, I haven't seen a map check from Tam. Maybe he doesn't have that compass. I don't remember where the compass was.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the amount of items in the dungeon, so he does not have a compass. Tam does not have a compass for Desert, so Tam's gonna go all the way to the back and then find Cold Stare and have to save and quit out.
Also, looks like we have a big key. I didn't even catch this on Tam's side. We have a big key in the basement. And Jesse wants to make sure that he does it. But yeah, this is a long walk to the back of the dungeon to find out that you can't kill the boss.
And if you're Tam, you're not feeling good about another dungeon that you're just leaving behind.
Yep. At this point, what would be the best thing that could happen to Tam, honestly, is an item on that right side that Jesse maybe doesn't get back to because the 2 items on the right side of Desert are a little out of the way. Yep, there's the save and quit. And of course, because this is map compass shuffle, everything else is now going to be an item. So if you decide to Herapot and leave that big key there, you are guaranteed leaving an item in the big chest. So it's a gamble. And Jesse says, no, I'm not willing to take that gamble. I think we're going to see Pod from Tam, which, we're kind of running out of things. This could be something. Now, of course, there could be something here in Hera.
Yeah, I like the play from Jesse to not leave the big chest behind. It's especially if you know there's an item there, even if you didn't, it's just I don't know. It's a preference, but I like it.
Oh, that's a...
Hey now.
Okay, so yeah, Eastern Pod for Jesse next. We know there's almost nothing in Eastern. Now, of course, the bow is needed to get to the boss at Eastern, even though it's not actually needed to kill the boss.
So everything's going Jesse's way. He went, he climbed Hera and got a bow out of it. Tam noped out of Hera. Who knows when Tam gets back there?
Yeah. And to be fair, I mean, the big issue right now for Tam is that fire rod on Stumpy that Jesse already got. Yeah, Jesse's gonna give this fight a try, but it wouldn't surprise me if things do go wrong, if he decides not to go back for it, because it's still slow getting up here, and you can just theoretically, ideally, if this doesn't work out, you just come and hopefully do it at the end, right before you enter GT. And it looks like we're immediately bow locked.
Jesse already got the good item out of here, so...
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't mean there can't be a good item here, too, but you bet against it for now. Come back here with more magic and potions, or come back here with a better sword, or any number of things. Certainly, with the amount of time it's taking, you feel bad if you don't get it done. Because this is definitely a slog, whereas if you almost feel worse having gotten this far if it goes badly. Oh! Nicely done. For a useless bottle. For a pendant.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I mean, you got a bow, and you know all
bow.
your... It's a bow, and it's your pendant and crystal knowledge. So, I mean, there were a lot of good things that came out of that fight, but yeah. Not ideal. And is going to feel even worse. Well, I mean, not worse, because no one's going to do Spiral Cave and then come back to Hera here. But the fact that this sword is just sitting here waiting for you after the fight isn't great.
Yeah, you can't blame yourself, but at the same time, it's like, thanks, game. You could have done this.
Exactly.
You could have put this literally anywhere else.
Put this in, just put it in Paradox game. That's just put it in Paradox instead of Spiral. Tam hadn't done the back of Thieves Town. Is going to do that now. I don't recall much of anything here, unfortunately.
And Tam's loadout is marginally better than it was before, so they will probably be able to defeat Almost Knights here.
No, they already did that.
Oh, yeah. Right, because TT is lit up on the tracker. Yes, paying attention.
Yeah, that works. Shout out to Kif doing the tracking and doing a great job for us today. Trackers always are MVPs. But yeah, this will be... Yeah, so Jesse we'll do Eastern. We have one item outstanding here on the boss. And then, I mean, what else can you do other than pod? We've kind of run out of other things to do. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Tam after they're done here in Thieves Town, since this is not the answer.
So Jesse looks like he's doing Eastern first instead of pod, and I guess it really doesn't matter.
You don't have a mirror. Yeah, you don't have a mirror, you do Eastern first. If you have a mirror, you do pod. Well, if you have a mirror, you still do Eastern first, but you set it up so you can just walk into the portal and do pod, because pod's a pendant.
Right, pod is a pendant, so you don't want to go to pod if you don't have to.
Exactly.
But if you're shooting for, a density play because it's pod, then maybe you do.
Maybe, but not without the mirror. Because once you're done with pod, you can't go to... I mean, unless you're lucky enough to get a mirror here. This is the right play. Do the crystal dungeons you have to do. We just know that there's only one item outstanding here, and we don't know. So if Armos Knights has mitts, you maybe don't do pod. I think mitts maybe is the only thing you can get here that say don't do this dungeon, don't go into pod. Boots opens up 4 items. Flute opens up nothing because we don't have the mitts. Cane opens up nothing because all the dungeons that need cane are also behind mitts. Mirror opens up awful checks that you don't want to do.
So that means we're getting the mirror next, right?
Probably. A mirror, okay, mirror actually opens up swamp, so that wouldn't be the worst ever. Except we don't want to go to Pendant Swamp, so maybe it is the worst ever.
All right, looking forward to it.
In which case, would you rather do Pendant Pot or rather do Pendant Swamp? And the answer is no. I wouldn't rather do either. But you're right here. Just near the portal for pod. It's a little quicker to get there, so you probably do that.
And also, there's no left side pod, so like
Yeah.
pod has to be the answer.
No, yeah, yep, no left side pod. So the good news is Tam is going to get this bow and may never have to do that cold stare fight since we now know it's a pendant. By the time Tam gets back to the boss here, might know that it's a pendant, not have to do it. The bad news is they're still missing that fire rod. They're still missing that piece of the puzzle. Could just Harapot and get the bow, but is not going to. Because it's just 5 rupees in the big chest.
I'm setting up the coffee break, and we'll be able to take a short reprieve.
Chat asking, do we know the boss of Eastern? I don't believe we do. We don't know the boss of Eastern. We do not have Compass. Because we do not have the item count.
That was a death warp, right?
Yes, that was absolutely a death warp. Walking out of Hera is horrible. From the basement, it's just god-awful. And then, because you have to remember which way you want the switches, and you know, if you go up with the switch the wrong direction into this room, then you have to walk back down. Now the tiles are back, and we get a nice 5-eyed Moldworm.
Just a regular, normal, everyday, 5-eyed Moldworm.
Okay, we're going into pod. Flute's good. We need that. But it literally opens nothing yet. And actually, that flute... I'm trying to think. The interesting part about that flute is it could signal to Tam that that's their mountain axis. No, wait. No. The bow was already behind that. So that should actually be the other way around. Flute behind bow on the mountain should tell Tam that they're missing their fire rod somewhere.
In which case,
you
start scrambling for,
what did I miss?
Yeah.
So Jesse's going to go ahead and activate this flute. Could have walked down to the portal. I don't know if this is faster or not, but you have to activate the flute at some point anyway. So activate the flute. Flute to 5 is probably better regardless. Cat asking where Fire Rod was. It was on Stumpy. When we got to Dark World, Tam did Hype Cave into Pyramid into Catfish. And Jesse did Hype Cave into West Checks and did Stumpy and Dig Game. And Tam stopped at Dig Game, south from Village Outcasts, and has, at the moment, still missed the Fire Rod. And yeah, I like this. You don't know what bosses you're going to be fighting. Buy some potions. Interesting, went for a red and a blue. I guess you have 3. I might have gone for the extra green, honestly, if I didn't have... If I wanted to buy 3, but... I typically would just buy blues and more blues. You do save a little bit of time switching from one bottle to buying a different one, but...
Yeah, and got the money for it,
yeah,
so
I mean,
we're
we got
not
so
hurting.
Money, not an issue, even after we pay off Kiki. I don't know. Let's see. We must have the map because we know this is a pendant. So we'll see who the boss is here. So chat mentioning Cold Stare using up magic, but Trinex uses up a lot of magic as well. So a surprise Trinex having a bottle of something to refill your magic is really good. There's that flute for Tam. At this point, should know that they've missed a piece of the logic.
Question is, does Tam recognize where that is?
I mean, right now, you have to just keep pushing forward. And for Tam, that probably means doing exactly what Jesse just did. Activate your flute, come back to pod. And hope that the answer comes to you while you're doing those things. Sadly, no Helmicopter. Chad asking about Helmicopter. We've already seen the Skullwoods boss. It was Landmo, so no Helmicopters today.
And that's the only arena that can happen in?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, and chat pointing out that the flute doesn't necessarily, I mean, it means that the bow is, there is the other bow somewhere else, or Fire Rod is the thing you missed. Either way, you're missing something for the logic chain. Looks like Jesse's gonna go do the back immediately. This is interesting.
Does he want to just know what the boss is?
Potentially. I like this a lot in Crystal Pod. I like this less in Pendant Pod. Because you might never have to do this. On the other hand, you've already got a pendant. And if this is nothing, your next step is Swamp. So... yeah, right now, the chain for we have is Fire Rod at Stumpy, for Lamp at Dark Cross, for Mountain Access, for Bow at the top of Hera, for the flute. Cam knows that they're missing a step, just doesn't know whether the step that they're missing is the bow to circumvent the mountain completely, or the Fire Rod to put the lamp in logic. Let's see who we got. Oh, another Armos Knights. Well, at least this is an easy one, since we actually have arrows this time. Yeah, can't quite do the Jesse trying to do what is normally the GT strat for the ice armos, but can't quite do it because you need to be moving forward, and those spikes kind of don't let you do that.
Yeah, there's not a lot of real estate over there.
Yeah. Now we do know this will be an item, and it's a shield. So all you shield haters out there can be mad at Jesse for going and picking up the shield.
So
I said
item-wise, that item-wise that didn't. Yeah, sorry.
No, didn't do anything. But yeah, I said our next stop is swamp, but that's only if we find a mirror. Which, I mean, at this point, boots, mirror.
Did you see what Tam just picked up?
Did Tam pick up a mirror?
No. Tam picked up the mitts.
Oh, okay. So maybe we just never get mirror. That would not be a tragedy in this seed.
All right. Well, Jesse's gonna pick that up for sure, but
Yep.
could have done without going to the boss.
Yep, could have. Our resident pendant pod lover, Leoria of Light, calling Pod the answer, but never the boss. not Helma. Yeah, Chad also suggesting that maybe did the boss first so that because the death warp out of here is kind of annoying. Tam gonna route this in a way that you don't really need to death warp, because what you can do is you do this hammer jump. We do get a Cane of Samaria, so we did need to come in here. But then Tam can exit out the top, loop down through Harmless Highway, and a mirror. Oh my god.
Ended pod just coming through.
Well, I don't. The cane, yes. Give me the cane. The mirror, no. I don't want the mirror. Like, keep me out of Swamp Palace. So, but yeah, this loop around that Tam's doing. Oh, a sword is really nice. Is the way you'd want to route this if you're gonna still kill the boss. But I mean, we've got things we can do now. I don't know that you do kill the boss, and that mirror might actually be really good for Tam, because Stumpy right near K45.
But again, Tam has to know that they skipped Stumpy in the first place.
Yep, but if they're walking by there, it might trigger the memory that they skipped that.
Yeah, they would have to remember that they saved and quit off of Dig Game first, and hopefully that does it.
So this is going to be a full clear of pod for Jesse. And done. And let's see what Marshit has. A compass and a piece of heart. So Jesse maybe, I think this is, Jesse's just going to say, you know what? I got Ice Palace. And this makes a lot of sense. Probably will do these checks that Tam is doing over in the Misery Mire area shortly thereafter. We do notice that we need a Quake medallion for Misery Mire, which we don't have at the moment.
And we know that Mire is a crystal since we know where all the pendants are.
Yes. And we're going to get Dark Death Mountain from Tam. Unfortunately, Tam can't do ice. Unless Bombos decides to show up. Jesse gonna do one of the fast bomb strat. It is faster than using the hook shot.
Well, it's faster if you know how to do it. Otherwise...
Yeah, fair. I mean, that's true of any strat, you know? Also of note, we don't have the compass for Ice Palace either. And I always say, if you're going to give me just one compass, I want the Ice Palace compass, at least in terms of actually keeping track of items, because Ice Palace is impossible to count. But Jesse can kill any boss, so not that big a deal. We've already seen 2 of our duplicates, too.
Remind me how many duplicates are in the pool?
There are 3. And so we've seen 2 Armos Knights, we've seen 2 Cold Stairs.
So the dream for 2 Trinexes is still alive.
It is still alive. I'm sure chat's already trying to put that Trinex on ice in front of a big key. I will not wish that on the runners. And Hookshot Cave. Do we have anything useful in Hookshot Cave? Cape, which is useful, but doesn't open anything since we don't have anything over on the bumper ledge.
I was gonna say, the thing that's right here that Tam is going to, Spike Cave, but we already had Burna, so that wasn't really an issue.
Yeah. Burna's a little bit better for it too. Uses a little less magic. Nice fairy. Those 4 corner bushes will drop fairies or hearts if they drop things. And that's going to be it for Ice Palace, other than the finish here. And hey, there's that compass to Ice Palace that Jesse would have liked to have had, but since we have all the things for all the bosses, not that big a deal.
Nope, you just get to see the boss and know what misery lies ahead of you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Tam in sort of the right area. Oh, we have a Vitreous. Well, we got a Tempered Sword. This is not too bad. We always the good news, bad news about Vitreous is we don't have the goo to hurt us, but we also don't have the goo to damage boost these eyeballs. I imagine, yeah, if Jesse has that red potion, this would be a real good place to use it, but looks like he got through it without it. Okay, here we go. Tam's about to get that fire rod. Yeah, like I said, having to walk near that location with going to Cave 45.
Yep, that did it.
It definitely jogged their memory. So not really out of this race, but, you know, needs something to happen. Needs a really bad Quake location, or... Oh, we're Quake for Go mode. Needs a really bad Quake location, essentially.
Yeah, a lot's already happened in this race that did not go Tam's way.
Yep. Now looks like we got a mushroom on our mountain foray. But yeah, the best scenario for Tam that I see would be a boots lock Quake in desert. We know that we are going to get the boots. Desert is soft boots lock, which means the small key is on the torch, not the big key. And big key is available. Now, right now, it looks like Tam's just going to do dungeon catch-up. But when it'd be nice for Tam if they could go back to desert with boots and get whatever those items are on the right side.
And even if Tam found the boots at this point and Jesse never finds it, the time difference may not be big enough to make up that difference.
There needs to be something behind those boots in a place that Jesse won't go to, like specifically the Desert Palace, right? Which has, there's no reason for Jesse to go back there. Other than it's 2 items, like you might, it's not possible that he does choose to go there. So it's not only that not only does Tam need that, needs Jesse to make the decision not to go back there.
It's a lot of ifs.
Yeah, it really is. We do have Ether as our Turtle Rock. So it may, so Jesse might go into Turtle Rock. Can full clear it, so there's no reason not to. And of course, somebody in chat had to ask Quake on Ped. Yes, Quake can be on Ped. That would be terrible for Tam. Jesse already having 2 pendants, though. There's that mushroom.
Both of the invincibility items were on Dark Death Mountain the entire time.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, cane. Yeah, blue cane, and then the cape. Yeah. Yeah, chat talking about what's Jesse's lack location. Yeah, I mean it's a mirror check. What that mirror check is depends on whether Jesse wants to bet on Swamp Palace or not, but yeah. And I would imagine, the other suggestion be Graveyard Ledge. I think it would very likely be that Jesse already with 2 pendants. I could definitely see Jesse playing for Ped here if the answer is not in Turtle Rock. And if the answer's in Turtle Rock, he's just in go mode.
Yeah, and even in terms of item density, like Swamp is the play, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, it kind of depends. Oh, there.
That's a compass.
That was a compass. That was a compass. I think. So the answer is not Ped for one thing. Whichever compass that's for, can't have the answer because, well, okay, never mind. That compass can be for any of them because, no, that compass is for a crystal because the compass has to be available logically before you beat the dungeon. But yeah, unfortunately with the doing desert before ice, the boots are not going to help Tam in the way that we would hope. It could be a GT compass. Can't be Hyrule Castle, because Hyrule Castle does not have one. Hey, there's Quake. That's our 21 out of 22 go mode. We would be remiss if we fail to mention that the GT Big Key can still be on the torch.
So if you're Jesse here, are you still checking items?
No. I mean, you check a few. You might check, like, you might do the big chest. You don't do Mimic Cave. You might have to do Laser Bridge for a small key, so if you have to do Laser Bridge for a small key, you might do some extra checks. And Tam headed to ice next. But yeah, it is a little bit scary when you have this situation.
That's the boots.
Yep. And of course, it's not uncommon to just have the boots in GT, regardless of whether they're required there for that or not. But yeah,
He's not
Cam's
even going to the big test. It's just
yeah,
skip the
no.
outside and yep.
No, yeah, this is probably what I would do. I mean, the big chest is probably the most of what I would do, but yeah, this is you've got a tempered sword, so you're not. I mean, silvers would be nice, but yeah, you're playing the #1 seed. You know?
Like we mentioned
have to
before,
go.
you don't give up time.
Yeah.
Not if you
I mean, yeah, if you could look over at the other side and see that Tam is just now doing Ice Palace, maybe you'd be a little bit more thorough, but no way you're thinking, oh my god, Tam probably god routed this, at best did this, may have done the same route or something even better, blah blah blah. Whereas you're never thinking, oh yeah, my opponent, I don't care who your opponent is, you're never thinking my opponent missed the thing. And we don't even have to touch Laser Bridge because we have all the small keys.
Yeah, there's no situation where if you're in Jesse's shoes, you're thinking, you would think they skipped what?
I know,
and it ends
right?
up being the fire rod on
Yep.
Stumpy. No, that's right there.
Yep.
So no script here, but
I mean, technically there is a script, but no one really learns it for blind outside of the normal startup. So, and you've got a mirror shield, you've got blue mail. Like, it's a pretty trivial fight at this point. If
Just
you're really
tank
in
it.
trouble, yeah. If you're really in trouble, you have a blue cane.
So now it's Flute to Meyer and then back up the mountain.
Yep. Flute tomorrow, hope for a quick big key, or if you get a late big key, hope you get something good in the meantime.
And at this point, it's really just boots or silvers.
Yep. Half magic might be nice. We have like 3 bottles, so it's probably fairly irrelevant. Okay, I'm also going to do Turtle Rock now. Now, Tam might make a different decision in terms of clearing Turtle Rock. Has to know that they're way behind because of that fire rod location. So their one out is a boots in a place that Jesse skips, and the 1 in 22. So it wouldn't actually surprise me if Tam spent a little more time in Turtle Rock. Because if that's not the answer, they've already lost, and they know it.
So we'll likely see big chest.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll likely see it, but I think it would make sense. It would make more sense for Tam to go for a full clear of Turtle Rock, looking for those boots. So we'll see what they decide to do. Oh, and we're not even going to see anything else in Meyer.
Nope.
We'll get one more item on the boss. Actually, we might not even get an item on the boss. This is one of those dungeons that you can have a small key on the boss.
And we've already seen one item, so
Yep.
there'll be no mystery behind it.
And I don't think we haven't got. No, we don't have the compass. We can't do a map check. So we'll find out what this boss is.
Guess you're getting spooky in both of those rooms. And it's landmount.
Like another landmo. So that's all our duplicates. What do we have? We have an Argus we haven't seen. We have not seen Trinex. Ooh, that's a high likelihood for an ice Trinex. And we haven't seen, yeah, Argus, Trinex, Helmosaur, and there's one more, and Moth. One of those is sitting in the back of Swamp Palace, twiddling their thumbs, waiting for a fight that's never going to happen. The other three will be sitting in Ganon's tower. And which one of those can be at the top? Moth and Helmosaur can be at the top. So one of those two will be at the top.
And that's just due to how much space there is, right?
Yeah, it's just there's a space issue. Actually, I don't think Argus can be there. But yeah, there's a space issue. There's like Trinex is big. Like Trinex also can't be in Skull Woods. But
Trinex be on land mode 2?
yes. So I mean, there's 3 places Trinex can be at this point. It could be chilling out there in Swamp Palace. But yeah, also could be in either 2 locations.
Well, Tam's got Butter Sword.
Yay! I'm a big fan of having Butter Sword, but yeah, not gonna help them out here.
Yeah, there's
the Gold Sword is useful for surprise Trinex.
And Cold
And
Stare.
for Helmosaur. Yeah, we're done with Cold Stares. Now soon we're gonna get that moment of truth. Are we actually in go mode? Yeah, Tam not even checking any laser bridge.
Alright, moment of truth.
Yeah, Jesse wants to know right away. I don't know if Jesse normally is a left side first. It is just bombs on the torch, so not going to be an issue. We are officially in go mode.
I like the full left check if you don't have the boots, just to know if you have to do it or not.
Like we're gonna get, yeah. In this mode, I kind of like, normally I'm not a big fan of the Dark Magician strats, but in this mode I like it a little bit better because you really don't want to be, even if it's not Trinex, you don't really want to be fighting the ice boss if you don't have to. Argus on ice, not very much fun either.
Doing this room without boots, though, is not
fun.
Great, yeah.
I mean, there's some people that'll even consider doing tile room early in this mode just to avoid the ice boss. I think that's going a little bit far.
No, I think that's fine. That's perfectly fine. It was not compass room, so it's off to the left.
I think at some point I said that boots can be in GT. Let's remember that boots cannot be in GT because Desert was soft boots lock with the small key on the torch. Not that it's relevant at this point, but we know for sure we're not seeing boots.
And there it is.
Was that 12?
Now we have to count retroactively? Oh, all right.
I just... Well, it's 4 in Compass, 4 in Stalfos, 2 in Hope, 1 on Torch. That's 11, so it's 12.
12 it is.
Could still find silvers up here, though. So the next boss that we're going to see is either going to be Argus or Trinex. Well, no, it could be Moth or Helmasaur, because one of those two, Argus and Trinex, is in Swamp. We just don't know which. If we see one of them here, like, they don't have to fill in the 2 slots in GT.
Yeah, we know what bosses can be on Moldorm too, but everything else could be anything else.
There's still 2 of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, if the Ice Rod were in a dumb spot, I might actually want a Trinex here if I'm the runner. In hopes that I got it and my opponent didn't. But Ice Rod really wasn't in a dumb spot. I mean, I'm trying to even remember where it was. I feel like it was really early. So no one's gonna miss it. I'd rather just have him off.
CAC or something like that.
Yeah, I think so at this point I'd rather just have the easier fight. Back of Escape? Yeah, I may have been right. That sounds vaguely familiar.
You know, it was 70 years ago. Who knows?
I know, right? But we get a Helma here, which means we will be facing Moth on the top, and Trinex and Argus are one's on ice, and the other is over in Swamp Palace. And this fight's kind of awful in this room because there's a lot of fights that are awful in this room because of the Medusa shooting the little fireballs. It causes a lot of lag. But Moth at the top of GT is kind of nice. I mean, Moth outside of Moth's room is pretty easy.
Yeah,
and given the other possibilities of what you can have up here, yeah, give me a Moth at the top.
Yeah, we all know that the real boss fight of Skullwoods is the floor.
It sure is.
Heads up by Jesse to use the lamp. We haven't found half magic. Who knows where that is?
Well, funny enough, because of the extra menu, a lot of people said that it was faster to use Fire Rod. But there's also the argument that it's actually faster to use lamp. Because you're not worrying about, because then you don't have to get the magic refill. So you'll see NMG runners doing the lamp a lot too. And of course with quick swap, it matters less. But you'll still see a lot of people will use the Fire Rod there.
Just a couple of tempered sword swings, and that's that. And no silvers, so...
No silvers.
Alright, so this is a moth on the floor, so we're fighting moth now, right? Oh, no, apparently not.
Yeah, I wonder if they'd ever be able to figure out a way to move Aga, but I think that's certainly not in the cards in the near future.
Also, I'm not like a programmer or anything, but I would assume that there's, a cutscene after this that is triggered by Aga 2. So
yeah, there's be a I don't know enough about, I don't know everything there is to know about programming by any stretch. But it feels like if you really want to push hard enough, you can do most anything. But the push hard enough is kind of the key words. I don't think it'd be worth the trouble. I have a feeling it'd be that difficult.
Alright, well, here's a Ganon fight. Tempered Sword Silverless is not bad.
Yep, and we got Lamp for Torch Glitch. We have at least 2 blues and a red that Jesse bought earlier.
And we've also got a cave in case things really go south.
Yep. Yeah, Jesse doing a nice job with the hook shot for those iframes. Chat asking, isn't Bugnet Aga a possibility in Swords? It sure is. Can actually be required, but pretty irrelevant in sword modes.
And the silver's hit once in Swamp, so no one's getting that.
Yeah, I mean, we were getting close to having to go into Swamp if the mirror had showed up and say it, when the mirror showed up in Pod, but the mitts also showed up in Pod, so that wasn't happening.
That looked like a triple.
And there we go. Jesse, RadicalSniper99 is going to cross that bridge with an official race time of 1:31:36. GG's to Jesse, moving on to the next round. And looks like Tam did go ahead and throw in the forfeit shortly thereafter. This is just a rough situation all around for Tam. The fire rod, the story of this seed. And we do have Jesse joining us. GG's.
Thank you. GG. Whew.
So yeah, were you scared of the boots at all?
I mean, I guess on some level you're worried about them, but you know who you're playing. You know how this is gonna work, and I can't throw. I felt bad throwing away time doing Helma already. Yeah. I couldn't justify searching.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like, my GT route was completely reflecting that. I am a hope right or a hope compass full left person traditionally. So like, I guessed against myself. To know. Like, yeah, I want to know if I have to do this. And seeing that bombs on the torch, I was like, okay, we're fine.
Yeah, and given that the boots couldn't be in GT, knowing right away is kind of important. If the boots could be in GT, if we hadn't had a soft boots locked desert.
And that's the thing. As soon as I was like, as soon as I get in here, like if I see it on the torch, maybe I grab the pot key and then I mirror and it's back to TR. And it's all the rest of the TR checks, and then it's Spike Cave. And then what?
Yep. Yeah, I guess Mire and Swamp, because,
Probably Swamp? I don't know. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Like, that was the one,
Ice Palace, Flippers really didn't do much in this seed.
They did they do anything?
No, no, they didn't.
Oh wait, the glove. Sorry, the early glove in Waterfall.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that was the big one. I was kind of like, okay, you know, and I felt good about that. I was like, I'm an Uncle Router, and to get, to get the flippers, I'm then hit the water checks, and it work out like that. I was like, okay, this is, and then the sword off of Agina. I'm like, these are the kinds of checks that I feel good about hitting, and then a lamp, and I was like, okay, I didn't feel. Each step of the way, I was like, this is reasonable, and we're hitting stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get a hook shot, and it's like every boss is killable.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like the only thing about your route that I didn't like, honestly, was the Helma first in pod.
Yeah.
You can argue that, yeah, it makes it so you can just, save and quit out of the back, and then the mirror decides to show up there anyway.
The thing,
Okay.
and that was the thing. It was like, if I'm gonna do this dungeon, like, I'm gonna have to walk around because I don't want to have to, like, route weird through, walk around the whole thing to drop down to jump back up to, yeah, that dungeon is a mess without a mirror or boots. Like, if I had boots, I think I skip Helma. But without boots and without mirror, it was kind of like, how am I getting back for the bridge and the vanilla big key chest and then doing the back and Helma still? And it was just like, well, this is what my mind tells me is my best.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of time. Another race coming up in a few minutes, but first of all, nice clutch pull out of the cold stare fight that you need to do on Hera.
Oh, yeah, that was. I mean, I feel good about getting it done just because it told me my pendant.
Yep, and anything else, because congratulations, you're moving on. I'll try and look while you talk who you're gonna face next. Okay, you're facing. Oh, we talked about this yesterday.
Yes.
You're facing Shoulder.
Yep. GFE popped in. I was streaming a little earlier today, and he popped in and was like, "Hey, good luck today. Get the series, and take it to Shoulder next." So.
All right, but yeah, we are gonna have to cut you off early with another race coming up. We do have one more race on the schedule. Actually, it should be going right now over on Speed Gaming 2. We have Dr. Bowser versus RD Walsh V. And then a race tomorrow morning at noon between Humbug and Plasma Kappa. But yeah, that's going to do it for us. Jesse, thank you for coming on and showing us a good time. Thanks to Tam for putting on a good show as well. That fire ride was a little unfortunate, but unfortunately those things do happen. And of course, Crazed Gamer, pleasure doing commentary with you. And our tracker, Kif. Trackers are always our MVPs doing the tracking. Can't do it without them. But yeah, go ahead and tune into the other channel or stay tuned over here for a little Final Fantasy VI, and we'll see you next time.